Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another video. It is your host, Crypto Glenn. This is the channel where we don't have any elongated intro, so let's get into it. It has been a little while since I've made a video. It's good to be back like I never left. The purpose for today's video is just to kind of recap some things that have been going on inside the crypto markets as of late. Took a bit of a hiatus because there really wasn't anything that was going on, and I really only want to, get in front of you guys when I have something of value to add to what it is that we talk about here on this channel, and that's all things crypto. So if you've been paying attention to the market, or if you haven't, allow me to bring you up to speed. There has been a tremendous change in the winds, I'll call it, everything that's going on in the world of crypto. You are starting to have major players. I don't want to say starting to, but the information is coming out. Major players are now siding on the side of crypto, whereas before, let's say a year or two ago, crypto was something that was extremely vilified. Now, if you've been keeping up with the Fed and the things that are going on in the United States, or the things that are going on abroad, you know that a lot of countries have been trying to tackle this inflationary problem that they've been having for, I'd say, the last 6 to 8 years, if not longer. And currently, it's actually starting to show that it's going to make its way over to the United States. The chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, in a statement a week and a half ago, said that they're going to allow the economy to run hot and try to do what they can in order to curb the inflation at 2%. But we know we're probably going to see hyperinflation. There's been a $6 trillion spending package that was just approved not too long ago, and the overall debt of the United States, I believe, is somewhere around $3 trillion. So it's just continuing going up and up and up. They're not really concerned about doing what they can in order to curb that number and bring it down and get the deficit back in check. And if we're just printing more money, you're starting to see this with equities in the markets, things being propped up the way that they are, valuations being overvalued as they are. Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, things of this nature, and just stocks in a whole are just, the valuation is too high. So where does that leave us with the cryptocurrency space? We are starting to see a lot of people turn their eye to crypto, as we've had an article from Morgan Stanley, actually recommending Bitcoin as central banks ramp up money printing. Why? It's clearly in times like this, awesome hedges against inflation and money devaluation are precious metals, and today crypto. So why is this important? Why are we talking about central banks now? The thing that's closely related to this is, if we all go back a little while, I believe it was 2019, Brad Garlinghouse was sitting with a member of the legal team from the IMF. Better yet, let's just see if we can pull up a clip here.
You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
Now, if we fast forward today, there are a litany of documents and publications that have made available for general public to view that are basically tying cryptocurrencies to the IMF, or IMF to cryptocurrencies, and now suggesting how the IMF is actually in favor of cryptocurrencies. Take a look at this article that was published August 26th of this year, 2020. IMF digital currencies might be next evolution of money. I won't go through this in its entirety, but you guys can see it's on coingeek.com. I'm sure all you have to do is just type this into Google and it'll bring this article up. IMF, on their official blog, and we're going to take a look at it here in just a moment, has actually made public a synopsis of what cryptocurrencies are. This is usually the first step that happens in mainstream adoption. It goes from being vilified to these entities putting out on their own websites and newspapers, magazines, news channels, these informational pieces that help the general public get very comfortable with what's about to happen. Let's take a look here at the actual IMF website. So this is the actual blog that you guys can find on the IMF's website, and it basically goes through and establishes, hey, what are cryptocurrencies? Again, this was actually released 2 years ago in 2018. What's really, really funny here is over the last, I'd say, month and a half, there's been a very large growing amongst the XRP community. Now, I'm no stranger to the XRP community. I have at many of times given these people flack for taking advice from cartoon bears, many of their dates never actually coming to fruition. But one thing I will say, it seems that they may have had correct, is the overall involvement with the suspects or the parties at B with who Ripple and XRP will actually be involved with. Again, this is the IMF's actual website talking about cryptocurrencies. And I think it's safe to say that the IMF is not going to be looking at Monero, or they're not going to be looking at Polkadot, or they're not going to be looking at, Fedora coin. And if you've been in cryptocurrency any long period of time, you'll know about Fedora coin. They were once upon a time a coin that existed. Today, I don't think they are. I think that's significantly telling as to what's going to happen to the vast majorities of cryptocurrencies once we finally get official regulatory clarity on not just XRP, but I think cryptocurrencies in general. Once we get that, I think we'll probably see somewhat of a significant Thanos snap with the majority of cryptocurrencies, and we'll probably only have but a handful. If there's 2,500, 3,000 now, we may only have about maybe 100, if that many. So I thought it was really unique to see cryptocurrencies being mentioned on the IMF's website. Now, the reason why I'm looking at the IMF, because again, these guys are not going anywhere. These are the people who make monetary policy for developed nations all across the world, and I want to be in stride. I want to be in touch with what it is that they're thinking. So if we look again on their website, something that can be found as a PDF here, we're looking at a PDF that's pulled directly from the website, where basically it's, I don't know, how many pages is this? 50 or so pages, where the IMF goes to suggest that Ripple should be designated as critical financial infrastructure for the United States. This is important because, again, before where I said if you were on the IMF's website, they're just talking about cryptocurrencies. Now, specifically in general, they are actually naming one. Brad Garlinghouse has oftentimes come out and said, and anyone who's done significant research into Ripple, you know that he's not concerned with the price of Ripple, what it's doing today, tomorrow, in the next 5 minutes, the next hour. He said he's worried about it on a 3 to 5 year incremental period. I know, again, throughout the entire XRP community, this is something that I have given the community flack for in terms of coming up with price predictions and dates. I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that if this thing goes the way that some people suspect it may go, via they deem it a currency, a bridge currency, via they deem it a token, it's no doubt it's going to have significant value in the future. It's just a matter of when and how much. So when I go to the charts here and I look at, livecoinwatch.com, and I see that it's 23 cents. Again, the fact that we have central banks giving the designation to digital currencies, CBDC, central bank digital currencies, the fact that that's even a thing now. Before, when crypto, if you were here from 2017 and prior, that wasn't even an acronym. It wasn't even a designation, but here we are. It's clear to me that these central banks can develop their own cryptocurrencies. That's fine. But it's clear to me that the rail that they will be utilizing is going to be the rail that Ripple creates. Now, upon my further due diligence into Ripple, I understand that there's two items that a bank can use to complete a transaction. They can either use IOUs if they are in fact using Ripple's rails, or they can actually use XRP. The majority of people who are in the crypto community who are invested in XRP are hoping and wishing and praying that they actually utilize XRP. but they don't have to. A bank can actually utilize an IOU, and that is something, I haven't really heard anyone in the XRP community talking about. And I think that's an important thing to kind of bring to the table, because that may affect how some people invest in the XRP. Now, if you think that, without a shadow of a doubt, there are going to be banks that are going to use XRP, then hey, go ahead, invest directly in the actual coin itself. But we need to be talking about the fact that they may in fact use IOUs. And I'll post a link to that on Twitter just so you guys have additional information. But the fact that, Ripple and what they're doing in terms of working with banks and trying to solve that cross-border remittance program, and a lot of people don't understand what that means, so I'll give you a very, very quick example. If you have a African dinar and you want to trade into, the yuan, right? A Chinese currency. Most times the dinar and the yuan, if you go to a bank in Africa, they may not have any yuan on hand. Well, they may, because the Chinese are heavily invested there now, but in the past, if you did, they may not carry the yuan. So what would happen is they would have to go to a common currency. And in today's case, I don't know for how much longer this will be the case, but it would be the American dollar, because the American dollar actually is the world reserve currency. So if you wanted to exchange dinar for yuans, you'd have to find a bank that could complete this transaction, and you'd go from dinar to US dollars to yuans. Okay. And vice versa. If you wanted to go from yuan to dinar, you'd have to go find a bank in China that will, you'd have to make that transaction in yuans to dollars to dinars. Okay. Now, if the dollar loses its world reserve status, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibilities that, we may look up one day and XRP could actually be the bridge currency, right? And if that happens, what you'll see actually take place is, instead of them going from the native currency to dollar to the currency that they wish to transact in, it'll just go from the native currency to XRP or IOUs to the currency that they wish to hold. That's huge, because if they actually do end up using XRP for those settlements, there's no way that price stays at 24 cents. I'm not going to get into price predictions, but it's going to be way north of 24 cents. Okay. So the fact that now we're talking about, this whole digital coming of age with currency, and before, where governments were not a fan of cryptocurrencies, but now we have governments all across the world. You've got China experimenting with the digital yuan. You've got central banks talking about how they need to either build their own cryptocurrencies or get in position to be able to utilize cryptocurrencies, all the way to the United States, where now they're talking about coming up with digital dollar wallets for certain persons and other purposes. This thing is coming. This is it. I remember in 2017, and it might have been in 2018, I was having a conversation with people, and I said, for people who work a normal job, I think it happens in the fall, there is a time where you have to meet with your company's 401k representative, and they'll tell you, hey, depending on your age, you should be invested in this kind of risky fund or this kind of safe fund, whatever you want, depending on your own investment objectives. And I said there will come a time in the near future where you'll look up and they'll have digital currencies, or digital assets rather, for you to invest in. And at that point, they'd be essentially trying to turn you from a customer or an investor to a customer. And I don't know if I thought it would happen that fast, but I'm just going to hop off this site here for a second. Give me a moment. And here we go. This is a large cap fund from Grayscale. Now, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you've heard about Grayscale, how they have been buying up Bitcoin during the time where Bitcoin was trading in the 3K range and everyone was basically bastardizing Bitcoin. Grayscale was doing a tremendous amount of buying. Well, they now have a large cap scale fund that you can invest in directly through your traditional brokerage. And the ticker is, GL or GDLC. It was created back in 2019 after I had told people, hey, this is in fact going to happen. So this isn't an I told you so, not really, but myself, everyone else who has been involved in the crypto space for, longer than a year or two, the things that we have been saying are coming are happening. These things are finally coming to fruition, and it's time for people to really open their eyes and pay attention to this, okay? This truly is a new asset class. People like myself, and for as much flack as I've given him in videos before in the past, digital asset investor, we're calling this new asset classes long before it was actually deemed an asset class by the parties that be, or the powers that be, rather. These things that we have been telling you are going to happen. They are happening. And it seems at the moment, the major disturbance happening in the crypto field is the amount of attention that XRP is getting. The Daily Hodl is reporting that XRP is set to outperform Ethereum when Bitcoin reclaims a key level of support and the bull run actually starts to happen. Now, if we look at this price chart here, there's a few indicators I use. The DMI is one, the RSI is another. I use Bollinger Band sometimes, the VPVR profile here. The thing I like about the VPVR profile is, I was looking at this way back here, and what I could tell was that price was actually beneath the value area. And whenever you see that, that's typically a bearish sign. Now, you've got people out there who are claiming for an 18-cent XRP. You got people who are claiming for an 11-cent XRP. Let me tell you guys, I haven't been the biggest advocate for XRP. In fact, in times I've been the one who is almost bastardizing it. It's starting to look like a pretty good investment here for the future, even if you take away the technical analysis, but the fundamentals. That's something that I have liked. I just haven't liked where the community has always been. But when I see price beneath the value area, to me, that's a very, very strong bearish sign. And yes, it does claim that, with the DMI being beneath 25, that's just an indicator that I like to use. Other people, they may use different ones. But it shows that, we could be seeing more downward pressure. If we look at the volume, there's a tremendous amount of pressure here. It's kind of tapering off here at the moment. I don't think that it's going to go down to 18 cents. I definitely don't think it's going to go down to 11 to 13 cents. Personally, I'm not that lucky. Okay. At those prices, I would load the bleep up. Okay. I personally think, again, if I had to make a price prediction, we're looking at 23, maybe 22. So I think all this in this region here is pretty good price points to buy, because even when you break it down and you do the math, I mean, if you buy it at 18 versus you buy it at 24 cents, there's not really that much of a savings. I don't know if waiting for this to get to 18 is worth missing all of what you could have bought if this does decide to go up and shoot up to 36 cents, 50 cents, where some people think it's going to. I'll do another video on that, basically where I think via the technical analysis that I think it's going. But basically the point is, if you're a huge fan of XRP, I really wouldn't wait too long to kind of buy in. Just average in. I mean, it's not financial advice, but I think that's probably one of the more respectable tactics to use, is to average in. So if you do end up buying at 24 and it drops to 18, cool. You got everything from 18 to 24 and you'll be able to ride it on up. But if certain predictions are wrong and we don't see 18 and we don't see 11 cents, we don't see 13 cents, you've still been able to fill some shallow bags up at this price point, and you get to ride it all the way up. Okay. Again, taking a look here at the Daily Hodl. Daily Hodl coming up with some pretty good XRP comments today. So a Bitcoin analyst says that XRP is going to annihilate almost every other altcoin, and here's why. And this, I actually tend to fall into this frame of thinking here. If you've been paying attention to the crypto space, really the only company, I mean, Bitcoin doesn't really have any representatives. Ethereum only has like really one. But for the most part, the only company that's really been trying to work with regulators is XRP. And when we start talking about these big institutions, think about it. In 2017, the market cap was $500 billion before we had captured the attention of large players. And even during that time, a lot of major players were hesitant to get in because this crypto space was very, very heavily unregulated. And they're not going to pour millions, they're not going to pour billions of dollars into something with it still being the wild, wild west. So with the only cryptocurrency actually moving in favor of regulation and regulatory clarity being XRP, should the day come where we finally get that, a lot of regulators, a lot of hedge fund managers, a lot of PMs are going to be like, oh, Ripple, I understand that. I know those guys. We've heard of them. They've been in the same rooms together. They know the same people that we know. We can actually put a face with the name. Yes, we're comfortable investing in them. It's not going to be Polkadot. It's not going to be Fedora Coin. It's not going to be Zcash. Pay attention to where you are placing your money, okay? So I suppose a crypto analyst was a gentleman who goes by the moniker Crypto Whale, and he's basically just saying the only project in the entire market that is pushing for regulation is XRP, kind of what I was just alluding to. Now, should the day come where we finally do, in fact, get the regulatory clarity that we're looking for, I can only imagine where this is going to go. Again, I want to stay away from price predictions. I don't, I've given people flack about that before. I don't want to become a part of that crowd unless it's something that I know, for certain or damn near close to it. So that's pretty much all I have for today, guys. I just kind of wanted to do a sit rep video, just kind of give you an idea of where things are going. I know Mastercard has been in the news as of late, trying to develop testing platforms for central bank digital currencies. Again, this is important because if you're paying attention now, it seems like every country, every developed nation is talking about, oh, we should be trying to move towards regulatory clarity for cryptocurrencies. Or now even some of the major players in the financial space are saying, yes, we'd like to work with or within the system to help develop rails or infrastructure to kind of help this transition come along very, very smoothly. Guys, it's happening. Whether you want to fight it or not, whether you want to say it's a cashless society, it's the mark of the beast, call it whatever you want to call it, but just understand that it's going to happen whether you're a fan of it or you're not. Okay? Now may not be a bad time if you're kind of sitting on the sidelines, if you want to make more investments into your portfolio, now may not be a bad time. I know we just had the Bitcoin halving here, and I know the last few times we've had a halving, the run-up doesn't happen immediately. There's a little bit of a lag, and I think we're kind of sitting in that valley now. Personally, I'm looking at November, December, January. I think that's kind of where we'll be in the thick of the bull run, if it is in fact coming. I believe it's coming, but, I see the writing on the wall. I think you're starting to have agreements that were put in place behind closed doors are now finally starting to be able to be talked about. And I think that's going to be huge for the crypto space moving forward. I don't want people to be in a situation where, they were kind of blindsided by it, or the traction, the movement had to happen before they kind of started to buy in, because I think people see that. The price starts to go up on an asset or a coin that you like, and then you buy in versus buying on a red day like today. For the most part, today is a red day. Bitcoin's down 1%, XRP's down 2.5%, Ethereum's down 5%. So I mean, if these are projects that you like, today's not a bad day to invest in. I know this video has been a little bit sporadic, but I just kind of wanted to get back on here and get in front of you guys, because to say, hey, here's where we're at. Before, when we left off, things were kind of in a little bit of a neutral state, a little bit of a gray state, a little bit of an uncertainty overall. But now, like I said, I think it's safe to say that writing's on the wall. And, we're probably going to be here on our way sometime soon. I'm not going to do the crazy thumbnail, XRP is going to the moon or crypto's about to blow up. But I think it's clear. We're here. We're here. The thing that Bitcoin was created to fight inflation and undisciplined spending, that environment is growing rampantly, and you have a lot of the major players on Wall Street who are now saying that cryptocurrency may not be a bad hedge. And when they start offering that to their clients, they're going to take that. They're going to take that, whether it be through IRAs or through traditional equities that can be bought on the stock market through companies like Grayscale. It's going to happen. We're here now. It's not going anywhere. So I guess I'm just saying, fill your bags up before takeoff happens. And again, guys, just wanted to tell you, you can always follow me on Twitter at CryptoGlenn. Appreciate you guys. Always enjoy having conversations with y'all when time warrants and allows it. So any questions, comments, concerns, definitely follow me on Twitter. Leave them in the comment section below. I want to say thank you to all the supporters of the channel. I know we have been going for a little while, but it's good to be back like we never left. And remember, it's CryptoGlenn, the channel that does not have any elongated intros. We might have some elongated outros, but never any elongated intros. We get right to it. Tell you what we're going to tell you, then tell you what we told you. And what we're telling you is crypto is on its way. XRP just may in fact be leading the charge this go round. Keeping our eyes on it. Take it easy, guys. Peace.